Hey everyone, it's Jason, and this is your weekend cruise news update. And we have great news about the missing teen on the Caribbean Princess. Another fight broke out on a cruise ship, and this begs the question: do you think there's enough security on cruise ships? So, cruise story number one, and we have some great news as the young man that was on the Caribbean Princess that was docked in Warnemünde, Germany, was found. It's about 3 days later. They're not giving any details other than they're happy the family is reunited. Now, his name was Aiden Brown. He was on the cruise with his grandmother only. And it's being reported allegedly that he had a fight with his grandmother. I mean, that happens. It's a teenager, right? And he disembarked the Caribbean Princess by himself and met up with a stranger around 7:45. So we saw pictures of this stranger. People were very nervous about it, and it seems that it was fairly innocent. So don't really know the details there, but what we probably are going to see here in the future is, and starting now, is we're going to see cruise lines really clamping down on kids being allowed off the cruise ships. So what people are saying is sometimes their kids get in different lines than them just to get through security faster, and what they'll do is the kid will point at their parents and they'll just wave them through. I don't think you're going to see that as much anymore. I think you're going to see a clamp down on security. What do you guys think? Great news though out of Germany, and I'm so glad this young man was found and reunited with his family. So cruise story number two, and a video has gone viral of a fight allegedly on a Royal Caribbean cruise ship out of Galveston, Texas. Now, there's only two ships sailing currently out of Galveston. That would be the Mariner of the Seas and the Harmony of the Seas, and it didn't give specifically which one. Now, here's a little clip of the video. Now, at the end, someone does break them up. I'm glad to see that. And this really goes to a bigger question for me. Is we saw what happened on the Carnival Paradise out of Tampa. It was basically a brawl. If you haven't seen it, it's pretty bad. And Carnival came out and said, hey, this conduct, we're not going to settle. We're not going to have this on our cruise ships. We're banning them for life, and we're fining them. Now, they didn't say whether they're banning them from the whole corporation, but many times that's what it is. Now, how would you guys feel if the cruise lines got together and put a no cruise ban together? So behavior like this, fights, anything that is done that goes conduct unbecoming of what they want on their cruise ships, they ban them from all the cruise lines. So they're not allowed anymore. So because if you're banned from Royal Caribbean, you can still go to Carnival, you can still go to NCL. There's still options for you. I'm wondering how you guys would feel about this. I would be in favor of it. Would love to know how you guys feel. So before I get to cruise story number three, I would ask that you please like this video, as it does help the channel grow. Also, consider subscribing, as we're on the path to 100,000 subscribers, and we're getting really close by the time we go on our Alaskan cruise at the end of August. If you could help me out with that, I would greatly appreciate it. Thanks so much. So cruise story number three, and this really goes back to the first two stories. Do you feel there's enough security on cruise ships? And do you feel safe on your cruise? And I'm seeing this question come up a lot more, especially from new cruisers after they're seeing these videos and they're questioning, why is this happening on cruise ships? I have my first cruise planned in a month. Am I going to see this also? Or do you think the media is just blowing this out of proportion and it doesn't happen that often? Now, that's partially what I think. But has there ever been a ship or a cruise that you felt unsafe? Now, I will say about 2 months ago, we were on the Wonder of the Seas, and there was absolutely not enough security on board. The kids had run of the ship, especially after about 10 o'clock. All over the pool decks. They're in the pools, and I'm talking about trying to pull up, when they put that netting down, they were trying to get into the pools. They were getting in the hot tubs, and they weren't the adult hot tubs in the solariums. They were everywhere. And then after 1 o'clock in the morning when there's a curfew, they were still out. I watched a group of 10 kids run right into the back of a crew member. These kids couldn't have been over 11 years old. They thought it was hilarious, started to run off and laugh, And I pointed at security that was coming out the door, and I'm like, you need to catch them. They just hit a crew member. Now, he grabbed them, and I heard him say, hey, we're going back to your parents. He asked me a little bit about it, and I told him, but I heard nothing else after that. Has that ever been an experience that you felt on a cruise ship? I look forward to hearing your comments. So I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much for the support. It really does mean a lot to me. And until I talk to you next week, happy cruising.